Hello, everybody. Welcome to Right Now. Welcome to this eternal pseudo moment. And welcome to, well, paradise. That's what this is. This is paradise. Now, you can't see it as long as you're believing that you're a separate entity, a human being, or a dog. I don't know what dogs see, but at least they don't have stories about what they see. And we do endless stories, don't we? We don't care about what we see. We don't care about what is. What we care about is what we think about what is. And what we think about what is not much. We are just slogging through paradise. Because you know what the thing is that if wherever you are in your spiritual journey, if you will, it makes no difference. You're slogging until you're not. And if you're in pre-awakening, welcome to slogging, because that's what it's going to be. You're just going to have to slog, and there'll be experiences that'll be joyful and wow and insightful and all of that. But then, then you're stuck with right now. See, because even that something other than right now apparently occurs in right now, because that's all there is right now. So, but this right now left to itself is paradise. And the funny thing is that this right now is already left, if you will, it's one without a second. It's one without comparison. It's one without alternative. It's just this. See, what is enlightenment? There, that's enlightenment. The ordinary, but really, it is an extraordinary ordinary, particularly this little bottle. This is paradise. Enlightenment is simply the recognition of paradise. That's all it is. Realization is simply the recognition of paradise. That's the truth. The problem is that prior to awakening and after awakening, we have so many assumptions, so many wishes and desires, and so many benchmarks that this, as it is, can't meet. And it's not going to change for you. It doesn't matter how you wish it. It doesn't matter. Number one, let's notice that it doesn't matter how you wish it to be, because there's no damn you there. There really isn't. There's something. Well, there's something with a U, but that's a capital Y. There's no lowercase u over there. There is the uppercase U, the capital Y, because that's what you are. And you can recognize paradise. You may be able to recognize it as you watch this video, if you haven't clicked it off yet, right? A lot of people click these things off right at the beginning because I can see. I've got about 20 seconds to say something magical, or people will go to something else. And I know how it is when you're scrolling. But still, God Almighty, spiritual teaching, give it a couple of minutes, would you? See if I've got anything of value for you. But the problem is the expectations are so high for this video that I can't possibly meet the demand. Isn't that weird? Is that even the expectations for this stupid little video are so high. There's people out there thinking, oh my God, he's going to wake my ass up today. Is that true? It will be true probably for some. But if it's not true, you don't need to think that it should be, because it shouldn't be. You're always exactly where you're supposed to be. It's the law. You cannot be otherwise, or otherwhere. You cannot be otherwhere. I like that. So, in what you're doing, pay close attention to what you're doing. If you pay close attention to what you're doing, you'll find out you're doing what you're doing, and it's just, and that's all there is. And you're not really doing it. There's nothing being done. There's nobody to do it. But but what we'll do is we take that absolute view and then we try to apply it to our relative lives. You can't imagine how many emails I get where this confusion has taken place. Where, Fred, I woke up and now I don't want to, I'm not motivated anymore. Because why? Because paradise doesn't meet my expectations. It can't, because your expectations rise at every moment. Because this eternal now in your mind is just a benchmark. This is just the moment so that we've got to endure until we get to the real moment, the special moment. Whether you're awake or not, but if you're pre-awakened, God Almighty, I feel for you, because, I'm talking about something you can't yet see, but maybe you can see it and you just don't want to accept what you're seeing. Actually, that is the case. That is the case. You recognize you see this. Realization is realization of this. Now, I'm not saying where this ends because it doesn't, but it's realization of this. It's the recognition that this moment, just this one, you don't have to agree with anything else, but just notice that this moment if you're looking as that unit, this moment is going to suck. That's just the way it is. And for human beings, this is paradise. Trust me, I swear to you, it's paradise. We're already in heaven. Everybody's knocking, trying to get into heaven. Hell, you're already in heaven and you're knocking to get out. Why? Because you want what you don't have. And you don't, what's on the other side, so to speak? Well, there is no other side. There's just this. But there must be an end to this, a wall somewhere where, the good stuff is on the other side. And that's not true. We're not any better than my dog, Willie. He wants to be wherever he's not. Doors are held to him because he's always supposed to be on the other side of whatever door is in front of him. He doesn't care for doors because they keep him from being where he wants to be. And then he walks through the door and this is a little disappointing. Paradise has its shortcomings, doesn't it? Because I had it built up what I was going to be like after I woke up. And then in post-awakening, which means that, and when I say post-awakening, I'm not talking about stabilization. I'm saying there's been an authentic non-dual moment. There's been an authentic non-dual apparent experience. And then what we notice is, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then it's like, God, is this it? Is this, this is really it? And what's happening is that even just right after awakeness has seen the truth of its own non-being, then the human being comes in and takes control of that. And the human being says, this is not what I thought it would be. This is not as good as it would be. What are we talking about? It does not matter. We can be talking about apples. We can be talking about cars. We can talk about mates. This mate, really, she's a good mate, but she's got a younger sister, looks just like her, but she's younger. Whatever. It makes no difference. It is a world of whiners. And that's not relegated to non-dual seekers and awakened beings. It's not. It's the whole damn world. Well, I mean, most of the world. There actually are communities where they're not looking for what's next. Because that's our problem, is what's next. What's going to happen right after this? Why don't you take a look at this first? This is not the springboard for that, which meaning your imagination. This is not a springboard so that will carry you into the heart of what you have imagined awakening would be. Imagine of what you're imagining what the world will be after awakening. And because most people, when they wake up, I mean, it doesn't last long. You've probably woken up, almost certainly, but you didn't recognize it when you had it. When the recognition, you didn't recognize when the recognition was taking place. And there's always a sense, if I had something, I lost it, or I'm missing something very important. I don't know what it is, but I know I should have it, this, that, and the other. And what is that? It's what's next. That's what it is. That's our disease. What's next? Cartoon I think I've told you about before, which is old Zen master young and Zen initiate, and they've been meditating, and they're done, and the initiate has apparently asked the old Zen master a question, and oh boy, we have dogs. We can add this to our video. Isn't that great? See, this is what is. I can be thinking, those dogs shouldn't be barking, but they are. So what they did was exactly what was supposed to happen. This is exactly what it's supposed. That's not an interruption of what's going on. That's part of what's going on. There's no interruption, actually, because there's no time. There's this timeless now, but this now I know is actually outside of time. And the now that you want to know or do know is also outside of time. Because there are people watching this who know exactly what I'm saying. I know plenty of them. These are awakened beings. Walk the planet like everybody else, but they're just not like everybody else because they're living in a different world. When you're living as a separate unit on this planet, man, well, in truth, you can't even survive as a separate unit. You've got to have other units. So, I think that's true of most hermits too, is that they probably take a little something with them, and where'd they get it? Because somebody made it, somebody did this or that and the other, somebody gave it to them, or they bought it before they gave up money or something. I don't know. Maybe they didn't give up on money. Maybe they got plenty of money. Maybe they're a hermit. They're still waiting for what's next. Because that's the reason, that they say, there's no need to go into the forest and live in order to find the answers to these questions, because they're not far away. They're right here. All the answers that you're seeking are right here. I'm knocking on heaven, but it's not the door of heaven. I'm already in heaven. It's a box. It's a box within heaven. It's not really a box. It's an apparent box. What it really is, what all of this is when everything is at a certain frequency. When the no thingness, when the molecule soup, I had a client say, I love it. When the molecule soup is at a certain frequency, worlds like this appear, and they're populated by things like this. But they just appear, they aren't. So the problem is that we spend all of our time complaining about what is, which is the only thing we're ever going to see. You're never going to see what's next, and you're never going to see or live in the past. If you go into your head and relive the past, you're doing it right now. If you go into the future, when are you doing it? Right now. Because there is no future, there is no past. It's just outside the chain of events. There's an apparent chain of events, but they're all happening right now. Everything's happening right now. And it can't be other than the way it is. Can you grasp that? This is it. Now, do I mean that manifestation is it? Well, I can't tell you that it's not it, but I can tell you that it's not. Because this manifestation is winking in and out as it moves in and out of frequencies. Everything. The Indians had it right thousands of years ago. They said there was the eternal vibration. There was the original sound, Om. It's a vibration, and there you can. And when that vibration gets to certain frequencies, then we tend to resonate with with not the frequency, but that which the frequency occurs within. That's what you are. All of this is a frequency. It's a frequency of apparent manifestation. And it is not changing. I mean, it is all the content here. It's always changing, but it's not changing because we wish it to be. We want it to be. We swear it to be. We fight for it to be. Look at Putin in Ukraine. He had a wish. But that wasn't the way things are. He had a desire that the Ukrainians would lie down in 2 days, and he would just claim that country and be the big. He would be like, instead of Peter the Great, it'd be Putin the Great, right? That's what he's looking for. He's looking for an eternal stamp, but you can't stamp eternity. Because you are eternity. You can't stamp the infinite. Because you are the infinite. You can't see the eternal very soon. Because that's just what I'm telling. This is the old Zen master telling some of the young ones, there ain't no very soon. There's not, when you are thinking, I've almost got it, I'm right on the edge. Just, I don't want to discourage you, but you can stay there for a lifetime. You can stay there. Well, you know, that energy can manifest for lifetimes, whatever, you know, and it's apparent lifetimes. It's all happening now. There are no lifetimes. I mean, it's an imaginary unit. How old do you think it is? How much do you think it weighs? It's imaginary. It isn't anything. But it appears to be our experience. And I say our experience, it means there's a sense of a being here. I know I'm not it, but damn it, you know, the story unfolds here anyway. The unfolding that's happening, that appears to be happening around you, is you. And when they say that nothing you can see, feel, hear, or touch can be you, well, it's really true. Because what you are is the potentiality for all this. The empty void is chock full of this. But a void can't express anything other than the non. I don't even know how to say what a void is, because I can't imagine what a void is, and neither can you. We try to, and what do we first see? We see an open void of darkness. And where do we see that from? Well, you know, I'm noticing it from the light. There's no, you know, there's no darkness, there's no light. There's apparent, you know, there both apparently exist in a bipolar world. But that's all it is. It's just a bipolar experience where we rock. But it doesn't even turn, it just rocks. It feels like it's turning, but that's time. We notice change and we call it time. What's changing is, and I can't understand this, and neither can you, so don't even try. Don't try to understand what I'm saying. I don't even know what I'm saying. I mean, I know what I'm saying, but I don't understand it. I don't have a clue. I noticed that there are parts of it that are contradictory. But Nisargadatta said, you know, if you have a teacher that never contradicts himself, you need to find a new teacher. Because you can't talk about this and not contradict yourself. You, I, that's contradiction. It's contradiction to the truth of no thing. But it's no thing appearing as everything. And when you really believe that you are one thing within the everything, Jesus, you are so far down the line of truth that the only result that can be is suffering. And how do we notice suffering? Because there can be moments of joy. If there's been an experience of joy, then you can know suffering. And you will know suffering more often than you will know joy, or more deeply than you will know joy. I had plenty of good days that I just never thought about, never learned anything from, never thought about them. Just a great day. Everything's going my way. This is wonderful. Where we learn things is when we notice that, no, everything's not going my way. I am going everything's way. That's the big difference. I am going everything's way. And everything is going nothing's way, which means there is no way other than this way. This shouldn't be like this. Who in the hell thinks that? Where do you get that from? You make it up and then you suffer from it. It shouldn't be like this. How do you know? Well, I mean, because I can imagine it used to be better. There's no used to be. There's what is right now. You're comparing it to a mental picture. You're comparing it to fantasy because your memories are not accurate. Because there aren't, it doesn't work like that. God, I don't want to get so deep that I can't get anybody to follow me, or so deep that I fall in the trap of, absolutism. Because this experience is important. How do we know? It is. And it can't not be. And it can't not be exactly like this. It cannot not be exactly as it is. I can start wishing that that little statue is blue. And it's not going to be blue. And I can sit here for 2 years and it's not going to be blue because I've sat here for 5 years. I was never really wishing that it would be blue. But it wouldn't be bad if it was blue, like, a Krishna type blue. That'd be very spiritual, very Hindu of me. What nonsense. It is as it is. What is this? What is this? Excuse me. Ganesh. It's a statue of Ganesh. This is an expression of perfection. But the perfection that we're talking about is not one side of an opposite. This is one without a second. Yeah, imagine there's a million of these around the world, but there's still one without a second, because there's not one around the world. There's only this one. And if you've got one and you're looking at it, there's only that one in your world. See, we don't share the same world. That's where we make it. That's what we fundamentally misunderstand. We don't share the same world. There's no objective world out there other than the constructs in your mind. And what you notice is that there is this imaginary next, there is this imaginary more, and this falls short of it. This is disappointing. I'm disappointed over the shortcomings of paradise, because I can tell you, I know it's paradise because I can see that it's paradise. But anything that thinks it's this, they can't see it. When I'm looking through the body instead of as the body, and the way you can do that experimentally is just imagine that this energetic presence that you can feel in the head, you can feel it elsewhere too, but there is a sense that that this head has something to do with it. Take it a half step back behind the body. Let that energy focus be here. Let your inner vision start here and include this unit in oneness. What do you think? This unit's the one thing outside of oneness? I thought your unit was the one thing outside of oneness. That's what you've been thinking all your life. But when you're watching this and you think you're watching Fred, there's no Fred. You can't possibly be watching a Fred. And when I say you, what am I talking about? I'm really talking about the eternal you, the only you, the capital Y you, the uppercase you, the divine you. I'm speaking of the divine, and this is the divine. This is the shape of the divine at this moment. And this shape or content will constantly change according to an imaginary character. And as an imaginary character, when I really believe that I am one of these, when I really believe I'm a Fred that never existed, does not exist, and never will, but when I think that I am a character like that, then the same paradise is just not quite it. See, this is it. There's no other it. So there's no possible way that this can be not quite it or almost it. And there's no soon, because there's time. This is timeless. All of it's timeless. You don't have to notice that it's timeless. You can just, because it'll notice. It'll come to your attention. Follow this teaching. It'll come to your attention. And I say that not as a teacher. I say this as a student of this teaching. Because there was awakening prior to this teaching, I guess. I mean, it feels like, when I say prior, it's just, we're just going to be using language here so that we don't go absolutely crazy trying to express these inexpressible truths. But there was awakening to truth, and then there was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's what it felt like. But where does the one without a second go? And where is the you that moves in and out of that? Is that even possible? There's no Fred, and you're not, some of you not, and some of you will come to believe this because you'll see it for yourselves. I'm just asking you to try to notice it for yourself. Try to notice what's actually here. Try to notice what's desperately trying to wake up. Because if it wasn't, it wouldn't be watching this video. There are millions of other videos it could be watching. If you're watching this, I'm going to speak to you now as a unit, so to speak. If awakeness is destined to wake up through that unit, the unit doesn't wake up, but it's going to wake up through that unit and through that imaginary character. Then this is a great place for it to come, because I help people see that there's no, people think that I'm talking from theory when I talk about that there's just this, or that there's an eternal now, or you are the divine, or stuff like that. People think I'm, like that this, what does he really mean? Listen to what is said. That is what is meant. But it's literal. You're trying to make it mystical, and it's not. It's much, much simpler than that. The Zen master would pound his stick. This is Zen. And you'd have a bunch of students there, and they'd be looking at each other. Oh my God, what does he mean by that? He doesn't mean anything by that. He means this is Zen. He means this is Zen, and this and Zen is this, and they don't call it a methodology. They hate the idea of a methodology, but Zen is a methodology, just like this one. See, I'm the daring fool who went out and called it a methodology, but I did that on purpose because that's what it is. Essentially what happens here is that you could say that there is really a technology, but it's not technology like you normally think of. It's some kind of divine technology, so the divine can recognize itself without going through the ideas of without suffering through time. And there is no time, so it's not you can see it without suffering through the imaginary time. And you don't have to go anywhere else. You don't need to go to India. You don't need to go to South America. You can go down there and smoke some stuff if you want, or drink some stuff. That's fine. I have no complaint with that. But you don't need to go down there to find out what's real. This is what's real. And all that does is point to this. But it does it in such a way that it's like a divine technology, kind of like this. And if you've got the time and money, Go on down there. Some people see it, some people don't. Same thing happens here. Most people see it. Almost everybody sees it, but not everybody. And when I say they see it, I'm talking about real students of this teaching, active students of this teaching, involved students of this teaching. You won't hear. I mean, there are some that get it and lose it. There's some that move back into the dream, but you can't get out of the dream because there's nothing but the dream. This is your dream, meaning the divine you. This is your dream. And that's all you're doing is you're dreaming. You're dreaming you're a Fred. You're dreaming that you are a pocket knife. You are dreaming that you are a crystal. You're dreaming that you're all these things. And all of these things cannot exist without you. But all of these things added up do not equal you or even begin to compare with you, because there is no comparison to you. You are one without a second. Everything has a second. There's this and the absence of this. Well, we can say that there's consciousness and the absence of consciousness, but what the hell are we talking about, the absence of consciousness? Nobody can tell us what the absence of consciousness is about, because you lose consciousness. When you go unconscious, so to speak. There's no you that's going unconscious. It's just the frequency changes. I'm inviting you to get on this frequency. I swear to God, it's a frequency. I have seen it so very clearly in the last 10 days. Just a video guy has not been in the house, and I was not ready to talk about this. I'm still not really ready to talk about this, but it won't let me not talk about this. It is the same way with every great step that this teaching has ever taken, from oneness to noneness to this to that. Sit with me for just a couple of minutes. Close your eyes. Notice the vibration. Everything is vibrating. What are these words? They're vibrations. They're apparent vibrations occurring within apparent space. Notice the aliveness that's here right now. It can be noticed as a vibration quite easily, actually. It can start out as noticing a vibration somewhere in the body. Or it can be a vibration throughout the body. Or we can notice that the body itself is vibration. That its world, its image. God created man in his own image. And we think that that they're talking about human beings. God has no image. The Jews don't recognize that. The Islamic religion doesn't notice that. Christians do, and it really can make them quite insufferable. But it doesn't mean all Christians are insufferable, because I have some Christians as students. This does not interfere with their Christianity. But their Christianity is Jesus's. It is not the church's. The church's theology is designed to perpetuate the church. You can open your eyes. Notice the vibration. Notice this frequency. This frequency, which I can just feel it radiating. I am that frequency, and that's what you are. So I can feel that what I'm saying is that the vibration can notice itself. That's the sense of being. And it's not actually an eternal sense of being. It feels like an eternal, and we could work it out with math or something to find out that it's eternal. But it comes and goes. It comes with consciousness and it disappears with consciousness. I think I've already said too much, but I'm just trying to get to you, trying to help. I really am, because I'm helping myself. If I can help you, we are the very same thing. Hello, awakeness. Welcome to the eternal now that you are. And when I say the eternal now, welcome to what at least feels like the eternal now. The vibration doesn't disappear when the body dies, but the myth of a separate being, that disappears. So there's not the vibration which I am, plus a Fred, 160 pounds, 70 pounds over there. Just this frequency. Enjoy this frequency. Enjoy it often. You can just be still. Notice the frequency. Notice the frequency of Om. And I'm not saying this with hocus pocus. I'm just saying it's a great way to notice it. I love you because you are my own self. I look forward to seeing myself again soon. Bye for now.